all you adventurers out there. I'm Tim Ralston, and you're listening to Castles and Cauldrons. I have a group of friends with me, and one of my friends is actually looking at me with very queer eyes. We're going to start on that side of the table and introduce the group. On my right, I have Tasha.
Yes, you do. Hi, Tim.
Why was their queer eyes there?
You said Ralston?
Yes.
Oh, Tim Ralston?
Tim Ralston.
Okay.
Didn't you know?
Don't think I heard that one before.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my last name. And then next to her is Tommy Tom.
As opposed to Tim.
Exactly.
Because we want to make things nice and confusing.
Always confusing. And then across from him is the glorious Wind.
Hello.
And then next to her is one of my favorite co-hosts, Heather Jane.
What's up?
And this show is about us glorious nerds delving into a game of Dungeons and Dragons. And really enjoying it.
We can't call it that.
Yes, we can.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can.
Copyright. We can't call it Dungeons and Dragons. You're gonna have to.
It's under the open gaming license.
Okay, well apparently.
So therefore I can. Therefore I can say we are even playing Monopoly if we wanted to. Because it's open game
but we're
license.
not.
But we're not.
We're not playing Monopoly.
There's
though.
no board.
Yeah, we have no board. We can't play Monopoly.
Aww.
Yeah, we're not bored.
Also,
We can't play it.
screw Monopoly.
Aww. You ever
Why
heard of
would
the
you
game
say that?
Triopoly?
Nope.
Oh dear, yes, my grandma has it.
It's a Monopoly board, but it has 3 rings that you can play off of.
And thus, 3 times is boring.
3 times as many friendships ruined.
Exactly.
3 times as long.
Anyway, we like to play D&D, because like I said, we're all just a bunch of nerds here and enjoy ourselves. And we want you guys to be enjoyed as well. And so what we're going to do today is introduce our characters and delve into the story. Tom, why don't you introduce your character first?
Alright, I am Richter. I'm a paladin. I'm a paladin novice. I'm a member of the Order of Blood Knights. Hello, puppy.
We have a dog with us as well.
Yeah.
Only one today.
Yep. Anyway.
Very, very affectionate dog. Richter, do you want backstory here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Richter's father and mother were both members of this order. And... Sorry, dogs are distracted. Richter was born out of wedlock, which is something the order frowns on. But it also led to the death of his mother, because he was born so early. I could have told you everything you wanted to know about this character
10
5
minutes ago.
Yeah, I was all ready for it. His father was not excommunicated from the order, but he was basically stripped of his rank and sent to a very remote posting. So Richter is having to work his way up through the ranks, not only at his local chapter house, but he's also having to fight against the stigma of both being a bastard and the son of a disgraced knight.
So when you say chapter house, you mean like Phi Kappa Alpha?
Kind of, yeah. That's how this paladin order works. They've got chapter houses.
Like a big fraternity?
Kind
Not
of
like a frat house,
yeah.
but like a fraternity. Like Shriners. Shriners are a fraternity.
Yes, they are.
With glorious fezzes.
So yeah, like a frat house with less beer, I guess.
That doesn't sound that much fun of a frat house.
Fair.
Anyway, Tasha, what character is yours?
I play Neve. Neve is a Selkie bard, princess of the Selkie, her particular Selkie tribe. Selkies are tribal. They're based off an Irish mythology. Seals that can shed their seal skins and turn human. And they're essentially fairly human, except they live a little bit longer. And when they're seals, they only come to land once every 7 years.
Do they have like big beach balls that they like play with as well?
I suppose so. I haven't seen any, but I suppose so.
Alrighty. And Wind, what is your character that you're playing?
My character is a lycanthrope kitty cat, who was basically orphaned as a kid in a dock town. She's been ridiculed her whole life, and it just got worse when she was infected with lycanthropy. And so she's just trying to find her place in the world and run away from people she may have upset in some way.
And last but not least, Heather Jane.
Are you sure you're ready for this?
I left the longest for last.
I have 2 full pages.
2 full pages.
Yes. Just front
Get ready
and back,
for a sit-in.
Technically 1 page front and back.
Pull an Inigo Montoya and sum up.
But I worked so hard on it.
We'll
Or you
get
could
to
do a
it.
filibuster and just continuously talk regardless of who's saying anything.
I could do that. Okay. My name is Eladrana Wolfborn. I was born in Druid community in the sacred forest close to Opal. I was named after the Elad tree, which is sacred to my people.
Can someone pass the sugar?
No sugar for you.
You're doing worse at this filibuster.
I was born under the sign of the wolf and was told in an early age that one such wolf had looked over me my entire life, more likely stalking me, waiting until the young girl would wander into the woods by her lonesome and gobble her up. It is an honor to have such a name, and fortune is said to follow the carrier for all their life. I was mostly raised by a community of Lucian women, as is the Druid way. Men do not really take on such tasks where I come from. My mother, Vera, was my primary matron. Although she had no other children, I was seen as siblings to many of the Druid children in the commune. My father was a human drifter. I only know him through stories and fantasies my mother tells me, as well as a well-drawn illustration of him smiling crookedly at the viewer. Am I going fast enough for you, or what do you...
No, I think I'm confusing Tom by stirring my tea.
Is that what that sound is?
Yes.
Yes.
Why would you do that? We're recording.
It's only slightly picking it up.
But anyway, I'm going to summarize now because I just realized how many words I actually wrote, and there's a lot of them.
That being said, she said Lucian women, not loose women.
No.
So make sure that you get that in your head. It's Lucian women.
And Lucians are a type of high elf, I guess you could classify them as. They're more of like a moon elf. They, we'll go more into, obviously, what more entails the heritage of the Lucian eventually, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
But, because they are a big part of the world. And they are the founders of Opal City, which is the capital of the Lucian realm. But anyway, so I'm out right now on a pilgrimage because my people go through pilgrimages at a certain age, and we're supposed to go and find out how we can better serve Evelina, the mistress of our deity, which is the Lucian deity, and she is, we'll go into more of like what she's the goddess of and everything, but yeah, I am a lycanthrope, so I became a lycanthrope. I have a father that I'm looking for, the human drifter, that I only have his name, and his name is Lord Zachariah Dorian Demetrius William.
That's a long
Williams.
name.
Yeah, well, he's a lord. Supposedly, that's what my mother tells me, at least. Or that's what she heard him say, or he told her that he was a lord.
It's still a long name.
Yeah, it is a long name. But anyway, the high priestess, let's see, the high priestess name is on here. Her name is Asperina, and she was the great mother of my tribe.
That kind of sounded like aspirin.
Aspirina.
Exactly.
She's like Aspen. She's named after an
Oh,
aspen.
that makes a little bit more sense.
Aspirina. But,
I'm thinking all the druids are named after trees.
yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, what was it? The last D&D session I was a dryad named Aspen, and I had social skills that were very bad.
Anyway, what's left after your mother named Aspirin?
That's the Great Mother. The Great Mother is the high priestess of my druid commune, and her name is Espirna. Thank you very much. But anyway, I'm a lycanthrope, and most of the people in the commune didn't like that I was a lycanthrope, even though Espirna, the Great Mother, says that it was prophesized that I would become a lycanthrope even before I was born. But that's one of the reasons why I leave the commune. The other reason is I'm on my pilgrimage, and the third reason is I want to find my father. And I have a familiar, and her name is Evangeline.
Evangeline.
Yes.
Like an evangelist.
And she's a fox.
Like a star?
What? Yeah.
The star Evangela.
Mm-hmm. But
Sure.
anyway, that's my long, grueling... I will probably have it posted up the entire thing somewhere so that people who actually want to read it can.
So now that you know some of the characters, you've noticed that we have changed some of the races in this D&D session.
Well, we came up with our own races.
Exactly. We came up with our own races, each and every one of us. There are fish people in this wonderful world.
Which is, isn't that what it means? The name means fish people?
Hohonu?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Hohono means fish people.
roughly fish people in Maori.
In Maori.
And we did this through a different tabletop RPG game that my good friend Tomedy Tom introduced to us. What was it called? Microscope?
Yeah, Microscope.
And it's pretty much kind of a world-building game.
Yeah.
Where we build the world and build the history of the world. And this takes in time of that world, I guess.
If you haven't heard of it, look up Matt Colville's video on it. He can give a better description than we can right now.
But nevertheless, it is a very, very fun game.
It is.
So now that we have everyone introduced, let's delve into the story.
All right.
So, the story begins that the four adventurers, being the four adventurers in front of me, if there was a camera, you guys would see that they are in front of me and not beside me.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe we're behind him.
Who knows?
Maybe we're not even in this room.
They find themselves in an inn in a small town of Tilmorotha.
Cool.
I tried to Latinify that city, and it didn't quite work.
Can you say it in Latin?
Dimorthia.
Dimorthia. Let's go to Dimorthia, guys.
Anyway.
Are you sure you didn't name that after yourself, Tim?
No.
No, yeah, he actually had me name that.
Dimorthia.
And you didn't name it after him either.
No, I did not.
None of you know each other right now.
Of course not.
Have we heard of each other, though? Because she's a Selkie princess.
That doesn't mean I've heard of any of you guys.
Exactly.
I know, but would we have heard of her? She's a Selkie princess.
She's a
Maybe.
tribal princess.
A tribal princess, still.
In this town, no.
Okay.
No one has really heard of her.
Okay, coolio.
Because it's a tribal princess.
Coolio.
Not the
That
princess of a
and-
whole country.
Okay.
Heather.
Sorry.
You live in the water. It's a kind of big place.
Anyway.
Bork.
There's an innkeeper in there. His name's Alan.
Oh, no. I'm scared.
And the name of the inn is called None of Your Business. There are 4 other patrons, besides you 4. There are 2 elf